Guys, welcome back to Swag Aviation here on YouTube, or if you're watching on Twitch. Most of you guys watch on YouTube, but I know there's some of you on Twitch sometimes, so welcome here. And today we're landing this A330-900. This is the LVFR A330. It's a payware that I paid for on Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. And now we are flying in on 2024, and everything's going smoothly right now. So we're coming in on ILS runway 15 left in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh International Airport. And this whole mess of waypoints here is what we're flying in right now. We're going to come in straight here, left turn, right turn, downwind, base, final, runway 15 left, and I actually have the chart open already, and as you can see the chart is the same thing. Unfortunately ATC and the charts don't always match up on this game, unfortunately, so those of you who know how to read charts, I have to be below 12,000 feet here at Romeo Kilo 719, and as you can see I'm about 8.8 nautical miles away from that waypoint, and I'm at 26,000 feet, so we're a little bit too high. But the good thing is that after that we have 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 6,000 the whole way through the downwind, so we should be able to make it down to 6,000 fast enough to land. But yeah, that's a little, I guess, problem on the game, that ATC doesn't always concord with, you know, the flight plan, even though I set it in. Like, I'll show you guys as proof. Let's go to the EFB here. So yeah, my arrival procedure is set in UKIV 1 Alpha, which is our star arrival that we set up, and ATC doesn't really respect the minimums or the altitudes that we should be flying. So yeah, here we are, runway 15 left, 15 right. So we just got a little fuel low. Alright, we got the fuel low message. It looks like we're at 240 knots, so that's fine. I'm descending at 2,000 feet per minute. I could go a little faster just to help us down, but then I don't want to speed too much. The star tells us max 250 knots at this waypoint, so I'm already trying to hold 250 to slow us down so we could, you know, descend faster. Well, we're not descending faster, but you know, if you're descending at a slower speed, then technically you're going down faster, if that makes sense. Tell me if it doesn't. Let me play with my range here just so we can have our little zigzag a bit closer. So yeah, that's what we're flying in. Cool thing is that you can see your plane on the chart here. And then after that, we're coming in on the ILS runway 15 left. That chart, oh no, not again. I don't know why it does that. At some point in the flight, it doesn't let me open any other charts. It just always stays on this chart, and I don't know if I'm doing something or if I have to, but yeah, alright, so we're stuck on this chart. Anyway, ILS is a pretty simple chart. We're just I think we had to be at about 6,000 feet at Itetu, or 4,000. Let's see, it'll be on our flight plan here. Itetu, there we go. Itetu, 4,000 feet. And for ILS approaches on these Airbus aircraft, it's done automatically. The frequency, nav frequency, is done once you set it up in your FMC, so that's all good. Alright, so we're gonna hold our 250 knots here. Could even push it up. I have my spoilers to help us slow down. Let's see what happens if I put them down. Might not be able to hold that 250 knots. We might, yeah, start speeding up a little too much. we'll see how far it goes and how much speed brakes we need. And the flaps here, 240 for first notch. My flaps at right here. Alright. So we're coming out of 8,000. It's not too bad. We're at 260 knots. You know, we're a little bit too fast, but that's fine. So we're coming out of 18,000. So this is where I would set up my altimeter. METAR, there it is. What's the code? I think it's this. Altimeter 1019. So I'll make sure I have the right airport. Yeah. Alright. You do so many flights, sometimes you forget what these codes are, especially for these airports that I don't land at all the time. So let's set that up. 1019 we said. There it is. 1019, and while we're at it, we can go set up our landing. So 1019, how much is that in inches? 3009. Alright. So we set that up here, 30.09 in the QNH. Temperature. This always says degrees. Okay, no. So it's 9 degrees. 9 degrees in Saudi Arabia. That seems a little cold. But hey, never know. 9 magnitude and wind. So you can see that from there. If you don't have your charts here, like not all planes have this, just look at it online. You'll find it. Winds are 130 at 3. Winds are 130.03. Transition altitude. 18,000. Actually, I don't know what the transition altitude is in Saudi Arabia. In the United States, North America, it's 18,000 usually. All right, now we're kind of speeding up a little fast. So.
Contact approach on 125.6. Good day.
All right, contacting approach.
125.6 swag Tango Echo Uniform 948.
Well, we're turning on our technically upwind.
Approach swag Tango Echo Uniform 948 is passing 12,900 feet, descending 6,000 feet.
Swag Tango Echo Uniform 948 approach QNH 1019er radar contact. Continue to Initu.
Yep, 1019er. That's good. That's what we have set. And looks like we're having trouble slowing down, so I'm gonna get
Swag
some
Tango
speed
Echo
brakes.
Uniform 948, you are 17 miles northeast of King Khaled. Maintain present heading and altitude. Contact Riyadh Tower on 125.55.
So they tell you to maintain same heading and altitude, but I prefer actually flying the star that I would fly. Like I said, ATC here isn't always accurate like it was in 2020. You know, there's always those little problems with the ATC, but I'm just gonna fly the pattern that I had originally set up.
Tango Echo Uniform 94816 miles northeast inbound ILS Zulu runway 150 approach. Swag Tango Echo Uniform 948 Riyadh Tower. QNH 1019er cleared ILS Zulu runway 150 approach. Cleared ILS Zulu runway 150 approach swag.
Alright,
Tango Echo
so we got
Uniform
cleared for that
948.
approach. We're finally out of 10,000 feet now. So let's set it, our landing lights on, turn these guys, taxi lights, my turn lights, and we'll get seat belts on. That's all set. Got that, all those lights of Saudi Arabia showing up. So now we're making that right turn, and we're going to be coming down on our downwind soon. We have to descend to 6,000, so I'm going to really slow down now that we're slow our descent, which means I can put my spoilers back up and armed. There we go. We shouldn't have too much trouble holding that speed now, because we're put our vertical speed up. And I think that's the airport we see in front of us, right? Yeah, that should be. You can see runways, I think 15, I don't know if that's 15 left or 15 right, but right here. I think so. Is that? There's a lot of lights. It's hard to tell. I haven't landed in Riyadh very often, so we should be making another right turn here shortly, turning on our downwind in Saudi Arabia. We're flying from the Maldives, by the way, if you're wondering. We flew from the Maldives to Saudi Arabia. It's about 5.5 hours. Yeah, so we've been flying for 5, and yeah, we still have a good 10-15 minutes. It's gonna be a long, maybe not 15, but it's still a long ways up here and back down. So turning our downwind. I'm trying to spot the airport. I really can't tell. I feel like this is it right here, but can never be too sure. So no, we'll make sure ILS is captured. We'll turn that on. And we don't have any localizer diamond here, so I'm kind of wondering what's up with that. Our decision altitude, just put 250. Usually that's on your ILS chart, but now we can't open it because of Microsoft 2024 glitches. Landing speed 140, approach speed 145. Kind of bizarre that I'm not getting any ILS. Let me see. What if I put it on ILS Zulu? Because I think I had it set to ILS Yankee. ILS Zulu, 15 left. What does that do? Does that change much? No, we're fine. Alright. Insert. So ILS Zulu is just inserted instead of ILS Yankee. I'm still not getting anything here. So we'll see what happens here with the ILS speed brake. Armed. Yeah, I mean, usually it does it automatically. Now I don't know if I'd have to standby nav. Honestly, I'm not even sure where you set that in your FMC here. Well, let's see if we can figure this out. Performance, flight plan. See, it says 15 left. Well, if we don't have ILS, then we'll just go. At least we have good visual conditions, so it's always nice. So now our next constraint here is Itetu, 4,000 feet at Itetu, so we're still quite far from Itetu. I think that's below Lonid here. Coming up and coming around. Pretty standard approach here. Make sure everything's set. Winds are, you know, pretty calm. 130 at 3, so we have a little bit of headwind, barely any crosswind. Because we're landing runway 15, winds 13, so got 20-degree difference from the winds, and they're so not strong that we're gonna barely have any crosswinds, so that's gonna be nice for landing. And I'm holding 240 knots. Actually, you know what? Oh yeah, look at that. It says max 230 at this point, so let's slow to 230. And then right before our turn here, max 210 knots until we reach our ILS. So we are holding 230, and once we start that left turn, we'll go down at 210, and then we'll be able to start setting flaps, set our auto brakes. See, this is where it would be cool to see the airport chart, because probably find it online, just so you know where you want to, turn off the runway. Airport chart, let's see. OERK airport diagram. There you go, I have the airport diagram right here, runway 15 left. So it looks like the main part of the airport will be to my right after landing, and pretty short. Yeah, so we'll have some medium auto brakes on. We don't want to roll out all the way to the end of the runway. Got the nice nighttime lights in Riyadh. Like seeing this view of the cockpit. Airbus A330-900. See if I can get you guys some external views. Showcase. Ooh, there we go. Landing lights turned on. We can see our runway is back behind us there. Alright, let's get back in the cockpit. Altimeter's set. Everything's set for landing pretty much, except that we've got no ILS set up for some reason. It happens. What can you do? 6,000, we're crossing 230. Next waypoint is 741, and we have to slow to 210, so let's do that now. 210, and we'll set our first notch of flaps in with that. There we go, first notch of flaps set. Should be starting our left-hand turn shortly. Base and final. Cool thing is that we should just be brought into the runway straight up. We won't need any localizer. But yeah, it's weird that ILS isn't capturing. I would go over here and open the chart, but I can't. Little glitch, but we're used to the glitches on 2024, aren't we? Our APU is still on. That's good. Turn our strobe lights on. Wing lights on. Why were those off? What do I look like now? Do I look more bright? Oh yeah, look at that. It looks brighter, nicer. I love the engines on the 330-900. They look big and powerful. So turning down on base and final. So we had to be down at 4,000 at Tetu. I don't know if they're gonna clear me down to 4,000, because technically they cleared me for the ILS approach. That usually means that I should be able to descend at my discretion. But yeah, here you go. You can see the you can see the constraints now. 6,000 at or above 6,000 at Lonud, and then from Lonud we're gonna make our way down to 4,000. and then we should have runway in sight and be able to fly in. I'm gonna hold 210 knots until we get closer. Landing speed that we're aiming for is I think they said 145 for approach speed, 140 landing speed. Let's check that just to make sure. Yep, there it is. That's with our flaps full. Any terrain here? Yeah, a little bit of terrain up in front over there, but seems pretty flat in Saudi Arabia, at least around this part. I think current local time it's like 5 a.m. almost, something like that. And we should be making our left turn right about now. And there we go, left turn on to final. Runway 15 left. And still nothing on ILS here. Am I forgetting something? Is it me? It's not you, it's me. I don't know if I'm forgetting something with the ILS. Could be. Normally you don't have to set it up in your nav. What if I set nav? Anything? No. No. VHF. Oh, ILS. Display ILS frequency. Yeah, I want to see it. It's not letting me. Could just be the plane, could be the game, who knows? Who knows at this point? So we're coming up on Lonud. 4.3 miles. See the sunrise coming. Gonna record before I forget. I like recording these. Go back and watch your landing. There we go. Alright. Holding 210 knots. Once I get close to Lonud. Is that Lonud or Tonud? Yeah, Lonud. We're gonna slow down a little more. Let the plane come in. Flight plan. So 4,000, then 2,000 at the next waypoint, landing waypoint. Oop. And there we go. Alright, looking good. Tattoo. And then landing. The whole big approach. You can see all those waypoints we flew there, around, lots of zigzags, but you know, it's fun to fly the real patterns that the airliners fly. Got the nice sunrise coming up. The Riyadh sunrise. We got lots of lights over there. Let's go get an external shot of this plane. Showcase. Boom. Boom, boom. There it is. Oh, look at that. You can see the runways. Looks like we're lined up with 15 left, which is what we want. There's our big plane. Alright, let's get in the runway and get ready to land. Shh, turn that off. Tonud, we're still not that close. We can hold here. Alright, last little check for me. Speed brakes, auto brakes on. And we'll get our gear down at about 2,500 feet above the ground. Nice looking approach. See runways in sight. Sunrise is going to be just bright enough for us to get nice video. I don't know, this started on 2024, like your windshield, your whatever you call that, gets all black with some marks on it. Like, I don't know if that's supposed to simulate bugs or icing or what, but anyway, it's time to slow down. Slow to 180, and we'll get flaps down. That's flaps 2. Alright, there we go. 180. We'll get 4,000 set in. I mean, actually, we can just get it down to 2,000. What's the airport elevation? 200 feet elevation for my runway, it seems. So could get it down to 200 pretty much. Alright, it's fine. Runway's in sight. Gonna get vertical speed ready, about 800 feet. Once we get to Lonid, we'll start descending. So we're pretty much flying over Lonid now, so we'll get vertical speed engaged. So we should start descending now. 8,000 or 800 feet per minute, not 8,000 feet per minute. That'd be a little too much. Alright, I'll put vertical speed up a bit. So now we're not flying ILS, unfortunately. We've got nothing showing up on ILS. What if I do that? Approach, nav. Yeah, seems like we've got nothing. Alright, it's fine. Take the terrain off, it's a little distracting. So we want to be at about 4,000 feet here at Itetu. So we'll just monitor that. We're 6 miles off of Itetu and we're at 5,200. I don't mind being a little bit high on landing. What I don't want is to be low and crashing into the ground. So we're holding about 180, and I'll slow down to 160, get flaps another notch, and then flaps full, and we'll be good for landing. You can kind of see poppies. I'm gonna try to look at them a little more once we get closer. I'll use that as my guide. So we're at 4,800 feet now. Coming into land. Auto brakes are still on. They like to turn off randomly, so keep an eye on that.
2,500.
There's our 2,500 call out. So put our gear down. Yeah, that's what I thought. So we're airport elevation is higher. Slowing to 160. And flaps. I'm gonna set flaps again. Flaps 3. And vertical speed up a little bit just so we're not too much. Runway's in sight. Poppies are I feel like I see white and red, which is what we want to see, but it's hard to tell. Alright, and we'll set flaps full. There we go, flaps are full, gears down in 3 green, auto brakes, spoilers armed. We're recording beauty. Alright, looks like we're a little bit high just visually, so put vertical speed just down 1 little notch here. Trying to get some nice cinematic views for our
Swag
thumbnail.
Tango Echo Uniform 948, wind 127 entry. Clear to land runway 15L.
Clear to land. Alright.
Clear to land runway 15L Swag Tango Echo Uniform 948.
Slowing down a little bit. Now keep an eye on the poppies. Get my feet on the rudder pedals here. Poppies look like I have 2 white, 2 red, so we're gonna hold like this for now. We're pretty much flying an ILS, but a visual ILS using poppies instead of a glide slope. It's weird, there's just nothing showing up on here for ILS. Okay, it looks like we're getting high. Get our vertical speed down a little bit. 1,000 feet. Alright. Gonna take auto throttle off here. Did that work? I don't know if that worked. It didn't work. I thought I had a binding for auto throttle, but I guess not. Alright. Doing speed. Autopilot's off. We're a little bit fast now. Let's just slow down a bit.
500.
500 feet.
400. 100 above. 300. Minimum.
Continue. Runway's in sight. A little bit high now.
200.
Slowly bringing that engine power down.
100. 50. 40. 30. 10. Retard. Retard. Retard.
Alright. Touchdown. Reverse thrusters. Alright. Reverse thrusters off.
Swag Tango
Tap the
Echo
brakes.
Uniform 948, turn next taxiway.
Alright, turning taxiway. And I think this is where they want me to turn.
Swag
Cool.
Tango Echo Uniform 948, contact ground on 121. 6
Alright, contacting ground.
121. 6 Swag Tango Echo Uniform 948.
Alright, contact ground. And we'll get our taxi clearance here. Taxi for takeoff. No. Ground services. Go back. Huh. So I can't request taxi to the gate. That's fine. We'll end the video here, guys. Thanks for watching. It was a nice little landing. And see you on the next one.